Welcome back, everyone. This is the long anticipated test that we've been putting together for the past several months. This is the 38-way ceramic coatings, sprays, sealants, waxes comparison test. And as usual, if you've watched my videos in the past, if you haven't, hit that subscribe button. If you've watched my videos in the past, you know that these are going to be subjected to a hood that sits outside in the Texas elements 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're going to see how long they last. As far as hydrophobics go, it's going to be washed once every 2 weeks for the first month, 2 times in the first month, and then once a month after that. And based on previous experience, the majority of these will have failed by the 2-year to 2.5-year mark. So let's get into the hood. This is a Chrysler minivan aluminum hood, metallic flake original paint, and it does have some damage. It did come from a body shop. As usual, all of the products I'm using to wash, as well as what's going to be on this hood, will be found in the links in the description below. So I'm going to go through the process of prepping the hood here, and you guys will follow along with me, just so there's no question as to how it was prepped. If somebody wants to come back and say, oh, well, it wasn't prepped properly, you don't know what you're doing, whatever, this is going to put that to rest. So without further ado, I'm going to show you just the raw hood as I received it. Received it from a friend here in Texas that also owns a detailing business, Alpha Pressure Washing, Tim Mims, shout out. He was able to find a hood for me here. So we're going to use our Scan Grip light to just inspect it. So see, it shows you a lot more defects than you're going to see in the actual sunlight, but it is pretty bad. It's full of swirls. You can see some of the scratches in it. Some of those are going to come out. The very deep stuff, not so much. When we get into the other side of the hood, it looks like it's been polished on a little before. You can see that not as many swirls on that side. Still has some defects. Again, we're not after 100% perfect correction here for this hood. We'll probably get it 95% or so. So I'm going to clay bar the hood using Shine Supply throttle as the clay bar lube, and it's a Meguiars clay bar. I think I picked that up from Harbor Freight. It was left over from one of my other videos. This hood did have quite a bit of contamination in it, even after the wash. Prep it for polishing. Going to use our Elcometer 311 paint thickness gauge, and we'll show you what thicknesses we're dealing with to begin with. So fairly consistent, 5.5, 6, 7 mil. And there's your, put it on the screen, the thickness in microns, and so that's primer, base coat, and clear coat. That's pretty standard for what you'd see on most original paint, maybe except GM. GM is a little on the thinner side. So that's what we've got. We're going to go ahead and polish this using Shine Supply Chop Top, which is a diminishing abrasive compound. So hopefully we should be able to one-step this hood. And I'm still using my Bauer random orbital 20mm polisher until it dies. We're really putting it through the ringer in our shop. It's getting pretty close to dying, and we'll have a teardown video separately for that coming pretty soon. Using a Meguiars microfiber pad. And again, I said we're using Shine Supply Chop Top as the diminishing abrasive compound. So the idea behind that is when you first use it, it will be very aggressive, and as you work it in, it will become much finer and finish out fairly well, especially on something like FCA, Dodge, Chrysler type of paint. It's usually pretty forgiving. Just first quick pass, you can see it got a lot of the defects out. There's some deep scratches that remain. That haze is just from the polish. And then of course you can see where that was just from the clay bar. Haven't touched that yet. Go over to the other side of the hood that I did not touch yet. Still quite a bit of swirls. So let's hit it again. Take a moment to remind you that patreon.com/ScottHD is one way you can help support the channel. I am completely unsponsored, and that is on purpose. There is no bias in any of my tests. However, I'm trying to do this where at least I break even. So the ad revenue from this channel, the Amazon Associates links, and of course the Patreon supporters help make all of this possible. So you guys are help paying for all of these products that you're seeing on these tests, and they can get quite expensive. As you can see with this test, there are quite a few products and they are not cheap. I will leave a spreadsheet at the end, and of course in the comments, in the link in the description, I will leave a Google Docs with an Excel spreadsheet that shows all of the data. So now let's check it out. That's a whole lot better. You can really see the metallic flake. Again, that haze, that'll go away when we wipe it with isopropyl alcohol or a prep. A couple little tiny scratches, but I think this is gonna suffice. What do you think? You guys happy with that? A couple little defects right there. So we're going to use Geon Q2M Prep, which is basically isopropyl alcohol with some smell good in it. And we'll remove all of the remaining oils and impurities left on the hood from the polish or the compound. Tape it off into 39 different panels, which will be 38 products and a place for our logo, which is going to be the control group. This next portion I normally leave out. However, a couple of you guys wanted to see the behind the scenes of how we go about creating all these labels, and it's a very, very time consuming process. You have to cut everything using a $8,000 machine, and then you have to weed it, transfer it, cut it, apply it to the hood. So it's very, very time consuming. A little bit of expense goes into this. I was also cutting the labels for my my trim restoration test coming up as well, mostly ceramic based products, but you can see that's what it was cutting. Takes it a little while to do so. And then very fast time lapse here. Had a new needle in the holder and I didn't quite set it deep enough, so kind of add insult to injury that it took even longer to go through and do this. You can see that's kind of truncated as to what goes on. Normally you can just pull it right off and the letter should stay, but because the needle was not set quite deep enough, it took a little bit longer. You can see my wife came to help, and she's a little better at this than I am. Use some transfer paper. Something you see missing from this is Ethos Ceramic Coating. It has been ordered about 3 weeks ago and it has still not arrived. I have a spot for it. I'm leaving a spot on the hood for it. If it does not show up, then it's not going to be on there. Most of these others, viewer suggested. Owner's Pride Ceramic, it's not pictured there. It did arrive on time. The blank one is JaxWax, that was sent from a Patreon supporter. And Extreme Solutions Polyseal, it did arrive as well. We'll get to it here. Get the labels applied. go ahead and sit back, and I will just set this to some music. And if there's ever any questions as to the application of each product, we can reference this video starting right here. Sit back, enjoy. Gonna be a few minutes, and then I'll catch up with you guys at the end here. And there we have it, guys. Patreon.com/ScottHD if you'd like to support the channel. As always, the Amazon Associates links are in the video description, and a Google Docs Excel spreadsheet file will be as well. So stay tuned. I'm here updating this and editing the last day of January 2021, and the Ethos did not make it, so it's not going to be in the test, and we'll just have a blank spot there. Stay tuned, guys. A bunch of uploads coming. Thanks.